for African businesses. And it's something I'm very passionate about, and it's something I hope that will really change how we adopt technology and our understanding of of automation, all of these buzzwords that you hear these days. So I have a few slides to share, and at the end of the session, if I do have the time, I'd like to probably share a different screen that will show you a practical, just a little bit practical of what that looks like. All right. So yes, thank you, ma'am, for the introduction. I just realized that that was an old profile. Yeah. So this is a bit more comprehensive to my current work and stuff that I'm doing right now. So this is a little bit about myself. But yes, thank you for that introduction. Okay. So let's proceed. All right. So Simeon Pristin said something that I like when it comes to digital transformation. He said digital transformation isn't just about technology, it's about changing the way you think. Now, one of the things, one of the problems I find within African businesses unknowingly is called overtaking. Overtaking, right? What does that actually even mean? So overtaking simply means that we have a lot of tools, a lot of technology tools are coming out every day. There's a lot of tools every day. I mean, on Google Play Store, thousands of tools are actually uploaded. I mean, apps are actually uploaded every single day, right? So the whole, there's a lot going on, and there's a whole information and misinformation around technology tools. Okay, so when people talk about AI, there's an imagination of AI they have, and there's an expectation they have from AI. And so when we give informed information about AI, for example, when I tell people that currently of all the AI, everything we're doing and saying, oh, we're using AI for this, AI for that, all of it is just less than 25% of AI. So all we've been using and calling AI right now is just a segment of AI called generative AI. All right. So, and all of it is actually categorized under weak AI. So we've not even, no country in the world currently is practicing strong AI. No country. Right. So that's the thing. So my concern for African businesses is the fact that, number one, we adopt late, and the fact that when we finally adopt, we adopt wrongly. All right. So I'm hoping that you will see a better approach for digital transformation in this session. Okay. So, yes. A little background. I like to talk about the future of work a lot because I realize that what we're doing is we're playing catch up when it comes to the future of work. And so at the end of the day, there is a need, there's always a reactive way we go about doing business. So we're not very proactive, we're not active in how, African businesses, tend towards business because of sometimes information and all of other factors that may play, infrastructure and all of that. So the traditional African models, are fading away to an extent, not necessarily because they are ineffective, but because of the fact that there is a lot of globalization happening, right? So there's a need for expanding markets. For example, my brand, Motherboard, we got to a point where we told ourselves our target right now is we reduced our targets for Nigerian-based brands to 30%. So our focus right now as an organization is 70% brands outside of Nigeria. Why? Because of of course we discuss market saturation and all of those things. You realize that at the end of the day, there's a lot of saturation in the market around technology solutions and other kind of solutions, so much so that we do not see the market that is outside of Nigeria. And so we decided to change our route and began to focus on the market outside of Nigeria, and it's actually been very rewarding. Now, it's also applicable for every African business, or probably a large percent of African businesses, because there's an expanding market in the world. There is, I mean, there's a lot of global competition happening now. You know, the need to, I mean, the need to actually become a global brand is staring at the faces of many African brands right now. So for decades, if you look, many African businesses have relied on manual processes for everything, operations, for customer engagement, for financial transactions. So maybe when you watch a YouTube video where they show you the hotel in Japan where all the staff are AI, right? And then there's just a control tower that has humans, and people are wondering, how do we catch up? There's a rapid growth. So what is really happening with our businesses, and how can we ensure that we are up to speed, and not just up to speed, but up to speed beneficially and effectively for our business sustainability? All right, are we still together? So if I'm talking too fast, please let me know and I will just take it down a notch. I'm trying to ensure that I maximize the time. All right, so if you're still with me, just type yes in the chat section. Let me know that you are still with me. All right. Okay, I'm here hoping that someone is here with me. I'm waiting for those chats. Okay. Okay, I'll take. Oh, wow. Oh, okay. Dr. Ben, thank you. Thank you, sir. All right, so now let's look at the changing landscape. All right. So one of the things happening in the future of work is who does the work, how the work is done, and when and where the work is done. So there's a lot of things changing in terms of environment practices in response to technological advancements. I mean, demographic shift, economic changes. There's a lot of talk about things that are shaping the future. Now, in this changing landscape where we're hearing a lot of things happening, and many organizations don't know what to adopt. There are scary statistics, I mean, that make it look like, man, this my business is going to die at any moment. Business continuity plans are fading because of the rapid change. Now, a little bit of statistics will show you that over 570 million people in Africa now use mobile internet, right? And World Economic Forum would say 44% of workers' skills will be disrupted in the next 5 years. And 6 in 10 workers will need training before 2027. What does that mean? It means that there is a shift that is happening, and we need to not only catch up, but be at the helm of the shift, right? So we're talking 76% of professionals saying that they need AI skills to remain competitive in the job market. We have about 80% of companies planning to accelerate automation of processes. Now, while this sounds like something futuristic, it is actually already happening. Okay, I have a network of executive assistants. So we train executive assistants, and then we pair them with executives around the world, business owners, and some of them we pair them with CEOs in UK, in US, and a few other places. And we realize that some of these guys are using tools that some of these assistants are not even aware of their existence. And so, automation tools that, so if you come to the office and you feel that you are being paid because you are doing a repetitive task, you're actually unproductive as far as those organizations are concerned, right? Meanwhile, so we, most of us here talk about overhead. One of the things every Nigerian business person talks about is overhead. There's so much overhead. And some of the things you are hiring people to do, people who could actually do better things for you, some of the things you are hiring them to do are repetitive tasks that can actually be automated. Do you get the point? So there's a lot of talk around the acceleration of automation between now and 2030, right? So the reason is because there are trends that are shaping the future of how work is being done right now. So, for example, remote work. We still have people who are fighting against remote work. And meanwhile, we have statistics of more than 65% of jobs in the US, 65% of jobs being advertised in the US and in Canada are now hybrid, and more than 45% fully fully remote, right? Meanwhile, we are still struggling with the concept. So there are certain things. For example, a staff is complaining to you that you know, their transportation is increasing, this and that. You know, there's a lot of transportation costs right now, so they are looking for salary increase. And I'm thinking, what happened? What exactly is this person doing? Accountant. Okay. Why is the accountant coming to the office every single day? Do you understand the thought pattern? All right. Of course, I understand the other aspects when we talk about the bonding and all of those things. There are systems for that. So that's where a hybrid framework comes into play. So there are other things you always hear these days, like automation and AI, and you hear things like gig economy. So, for example, many people are hiring staff full-time, staff that they don't need full-time, right? Because we don't understand how the gig economy actually plays at our advantage. So we look at things like skill shift. A lot of skills that used to be, you know, clerical skills, for example, are becoming out of place right now within the current framework. So people are talking about diversity, inclusion, employee experience, customer experience. How do we, you know, personalization and customization of customer experience? These things are shaping the future of work. Now, the concern is, how are you adapting? How are you adapting? Because there are new behaviors, there are technologies, there are workforce changes, there's a lot of globalization, there are mobility concerns. So how are you adapting? Okay, so right now, when you look at the future of work and then you look at digital transformation, one of the things that you will see that digital transformation is using to drive growth, and if you look at it, there's been billions of dollar investment in fintech or you know, revenue in fintech. And so the fintech and digital payments, e-commerce and online marketplaces, cloud computing and remote work solutions, digital marketing and social media growth, artificial intelligence and automation. Now, look at these areas. Which of these areas are you currently maximizing in your work? And this is where the shocker is. The shocker is there's something called IR4, okay? Now, we're talking Industry 4.0. Now, I don't know if there's anyone who is familiar with the concept, but the concept of Industry 4.0, not all of these things, the only thing that is captured among these key or basic, we actually call them basic digital transformation, you know, happening within, you know, the landscape. So among all of these 5 that I mentioned here, I think maybe just 3 of them are actually well articulated in IR4. Okay, so when we get to the 4th industrial revolution, which is Industry 4.0, you would realize that we are talking about industries that are not just, I mean, we're not just talking about a company being industrialized, right? We're talking about a city. For example, Copenhagen, right? So look at the model, right? So we're talking about an entire city creating a framework. Now, this is it. World Bank is currently putting money into the digital transformation for Africa. Now, they are starting with things like broadband networks and all of those things. What that means is that the play of African working will change on the basis of these investments. All right. So when a time comes where every business has to use fintech, what happens to your business? When a time comes when every business, when it becomes an infringement of rights not to have an e-commerce platform, what happens to your business? Like, these are literally some of the policies that are being written to be driven from 2030. Do you understand what I'm saying? So the time comes when automation, everybody is talking automation, and we're saying, okay, so sustainability, and everybody that is doing business in Nigeria henceforth has to consider the sustainability framework, because the sustainability framework is in support of climate action. These are things that are happening in globalization. What happens to your own business in that day? Will you still be able to function, or you would be forced to shut down because you are unable? Because right now, maybe running a business for you may just be have 1 or 2 certifications that are related to the business, register with CAC, have your tax documents. When we now begin to have reporting standards for HSE and say, oh, what health safety measures does your organization keep as regarding the new framework that insists that some of these things should be automated to reduce waste for waste management, for all of these things. I'm saying that the way we are thinking about technology currently is very minute in comparison to where the world is going to when it comes to digital transformation. So when people talk about digital transformation, maybe they think is, oh, I need to have a website and all of these little things, use seller to sell my products. No. We're talking way beyond that. Okay? I hope someone is still with me, and I hope I'm not boring you with some of this information. I need you to see the global concept, see what really is obtainable, what really is happening, where the driving force is going towards, right? So, all right. So, if you're still with me, oh, thank you for confirming you are still with me. I'm grateful for that. I always like the feedback. Now, we're in Africa, because somebody here is thinking, wow, all these things you are just saying, you're just shouting and shouting. This is Africa. What happens in Africa? Of course, I told you from the beginning that I'm looking at African business. Now, there's a lot of challenges when it comes to digital transformation in Africa. We are not oblivious of those facts, but we are saying that some of these things are changing. For example, limited internet access is currently receiving, I can't remember how many billion. If you check on I can't remember how many billion it is, but it's available on the UN website that is actually being put into the internet infrastructure for Africa right now. Okay, now high cost of technology. So of course, advanced technologies or tools are always expensive. That's true. We're in a place where there's, cybersecurity risks. Nigeria, of course, is even known for, cybersecurity risk and all of that. Skill gaps. Then finally, my favorite, overtaking. Now, these 5 challenges that I'm mentioning here, there may be others, of course. Some of you may face other challenges, but these are key, right? So these challenges that we're talking about, I dare say that there is solution. And I also dare say that the rapid change that we're experiencing, no matter how you look at Nigeria and maybe judge the industrial landscape of Nigeria, one of the things you would need to see is that people are learning from outside of Nigeria. And a time will come when you don't use certain technologies, somebody will look at your business as inferior. I always tell people in my branding class that how people perceive your brand determines how they price you. It determines the value they place on your brand. Okay? So, these are challenges that we all know. Now, limited access, cost of technology, and all of these things. How do we go about it? Now, all of these things I'm saying, I'm still trying to deal with the future of work and the digital transformation before I show you the approach that I recommend. Okay? Now, how businesses can successfully adopt? Now, invest in digital skills development. Now, provide in-house training or partner with digital education platforms. Now, the thing is, I mentioned to you earlier that 44% of the workforce, all right, 44% of the global workforce is actually estimated to need reskilling by 2027. Some say 2030, all right? And sadly, that also includes some of us here right now, executives. Does it make sense? Yes. It includes some of us who are here right now. And we must be humble enough to just tell ourselves that truly we need it. All right? We really need to. I've been doing research on artificial intelligence since 2018. I started talking, my first talk on artificial intelligence was in the year 2018. I started talking about those things because I'm futuristic when it comes to technology. And people are just beginning to understand what AI is. You know, when ChatGPT came, that's when people started using AI. I started using ChatGPT as far back as maybe 2019. It was called, we're using it directly from OpenAI, OpenAI platform. We used to call it Playground then, right? Now, some of you, I don't know, 1 or 2 persons may know some of that information. Now, look at this. The distance between that time and now You can imagine those who adopted as at that time what they are currently trying to do with AI. So if we want to be able to fit into the global space, there's a need for reskilling. There's a need for digital skills development. I'm not talking Microsoft Word. I'm not talking Microsoft Word or how to use the internet. No. I'm saying you don't need to know the tech. You don't need to know all the jargons we used to say in tech, but you need to understand how it functions. That's why one of the tools I will show you at the end of this session will help you understand it from an executive's perspective. All right. Now, leveraging affordable digital solutions. They're actually affordable and open source technologies. Many times we don't invest into it because we've not seen how it plays. And that's why I would show you how many of you have been adopting technology wrongly. And I'll show you what I believe and is professionally approved to be the best for results. Okay. Now, so there are actually tools that you can use. Now, one of the things that is making the technology, affordability rate to actually increase is because of what is called alternatives. For every tool that you see that looks expensive, there's always an alternative. Do you understand? There's always an alternative. There's always alternative. The problem is you have been overtaken, which is always quick to pick a tool. They say, oh, in the education space, one of your colleagues mentioned, oh, we are using so and so. You jump on it. Oh yeah, IT person, let's get this tool. And you quickly start using it. And then you actually end up seeing very little results. They mention another tool is happening. You quickly jump on it. ChatGPT is no longer the one, there's another one. You jump on it. That has been a problem. Now, cybersecurity measures. Now, of course, one of the things we are promoting in digital transformation is executives and business owners understanding the cybersecurity landscape so that you don't leave it for people in tech alone. All right? Let it be part of your organization's framework. For example, some of you are using, maybe some of those of you, I know some of the people in our community at SECA are school owners. Some of you are using LMS or you're using SMS, school management systems, and there is no sense of cybersecurity measure until when one parent gives a complaint. No, those things are supposed to be. So you don't adopt any system without looking at security. That's actually the core concept of, some of you may have seen something in tech called DevOps. So in DevOps, there's something called DevSecOps. So the concept of DevSecOps is that as we develop tools, we ensure that at every stage, there is security incorporated into the operation. So I'm not just creating an operational tool, I'm considering security measures at every point in time. Does that make sense to anybody? So when anybody says, I'm creating a website for you, you engage a professional and say, I need a website. One of your questions as a business owner is, what are you putting in place for security? When anybody tells you, oh, I want you to do, we have a system, it's going to change the game for you. Awesome. What is the security measure? But I'll show you a step-by-step approach to adopting. All right, so adopt a phase-based approach. This is very important, and I will explain it better in the coming slides. I just have very few minutes left. Now, collaborate with tech startups. You can also collaborate with tech startups, and you will be able to get, because it's a win-win. If there's anything I've learned within this SECA community is relationship, the ability to realizing that what you have, somebody else is looking for, and what you are looking for, somebody else has it. When you guys meet at a point, you have entered into collaboration. So there are rooms for collaboration, which maybe if we're talking on one-on-one, I could show you some of those things because of time. I may not be able to do that now. So this is where the bone of contention is. This is where the meat of the matter I brought to you is. A business reengineering approach to digital transformation. Now, many of you hear the term business process reengineering, and our understanding of it is not more than what we've been told, without realizing that it's something that is happening to us every day, only that we do not follow the process through, and we do not probably understand the process. Now, when you talk business process reengineering, is a strategic approach, all right? And the fundamental thing there is that you are rethinking and you are redesigning your processes, okay? Now, of course, if you don't have a process yet, what you need now is for you to do business process first. Before we now, by the time you do a business process for your organization, we can now talk business process reengineering. But in case your business process is just in your mind, you've not documented it, you can still understand what I'm saying. But if you have your business process, I want you to probably, if you have it on your laptop or your phone, open it up and you'll be able to see what I'm saying. Now, the focus is for me to look at the entire thing my business does. If you're somebody who is producing, if you are, for example, Mommy Ray does some stuff in agriculture, and you have a process how you produce to how you actually get it to the market is an end-to-end process, okay? Now, one of the things many of you are not seeing, which is resulting to your major complaint overhead, is processes that are redundant. Do you understand what I'm saying? There are things that exist within your process framework that are costing you money but are giving you little or no results. Are you following? There are some of those. So those redundancies, if you deal with those redundancies, what happens is that you create a more productive system for your business. Does that make sense? Now, why do you need to implement it? Because I know most of you here, I mean, business owners are like, everyone here runs a business or they are leaders in a business. We're always thinking about end game. We're always thinking about results. Now, high operational costs. Many of you are, I mean, everybody knows these things. We need to implement a business process, or we need to re-engineer our business process, because we want to ensure that we are not wasting time and resources. Now, I do this activity when I teach time management. It's called a time audit. I created the activity, actually. So during the activity, every organization I've done this activity for, everybody at the end of the activity realizes that their productive time is not more than 15 to 20% of their entire time. I mean, it's like a revelation. Some people, I mean, I've had people who got discouraged after the audit because they felt like, what have I been doing with my life? It's the same thing that is happening with our businesses, that some of us are putting in a lot of effort and getting very little result because of the operational efficiency that we have on board. Another thing is inadequate technology. Now, understand with me that technology is not what you think, in the sense of technology is all these their digital things. There's a difference between technology and digitalization and digitization, yeah, and digital transformation. They are all different things in their rights. So, for example, when man started using stones to heat stuff, that was technology for him at the moment. When he graduated from using stones to using hammers, that's technology. You follow? When he graduated from using hammers to drilling machines that drill into the wood or into the wall, that's another growth in technology. So you must understand when to adopt and what to adopt. So many of us are inadequately adopting, even when we have the capacity to do so. And so we are seeing less results because of this. Another thing is processes. Some of us have redundant processes, like I mentioned earlier. Another thing is you're growing. Most of you, your businesses, you realize, if you want to be honest with yourself, some of you here will agree with me, that you realize that your business started looking like you're no longer having a level of control when you started growing. It means that all of a sudden, the business has been huge, has been small, and somehow growth started happening. And it's as though the more it grows, the more you're losing control. Organizational growth works in two ways, because previous processes were working does not mean they will work now that we have scaled up. So that's another need. Then the quality of products and services. I know people who are very good. Like I was with a vendor yesterday, and I realized that this person is good. Your product is good, But as much as your product is good, the process is affecting the impact of your product. And I had to communicate my displeasure. And of course, she sent me an apology, and I told her, no, there was no problem. We are good. And today she delivered better. Now, this is what I'm saying, that you see, when you consistently fail at meeting standards, many times, one of the things you need to realize is that it's your process that is actually hampering, is the process. Are we together? Okay. Now, another thing is unhappy customers. Do you know that many times your product is not the problem with unhappy customers? It's the process. A lot of times. It's not how good you are, it's the process. Okay, I've mentioned, I've done a lot of doomsday message for a day. So let's go to the good part. Now, how do we get these things done? Of course, our everyday defining of goals. These are steps to BPR. Every BPR professional, no matter how good they are, they will end up falling in between, within these 6 things. Every BPR professional. The concept is the same. The execution is different. Now, defining of goals. Of course, we have SMART and SMARTer principles, and it's important. So I'm sure those are principles you know. When it comes to goals, everybody here knows the concept of SMART goals or SMARTer goals and all of that. And so when we set our goals, the next thing, I'm showing you how we do this for organizations. So when I'm redesigning your business process, this is how we go about it. All right. Assessing the current state. Assessing the current state. Now, in project management, there's something we call current state and future state, right? Now, every business has a current state and a future state, knowingly or unknowingly. The best thing you can do is for you to know your envisaged future state or future state. If you know the future state, you will be able to identify the gaps. Many times, the identification of gaps and opportunities is only on the basis of knowing what is the future state. So if you're here and you're looking at your business process, or you're looking at your SOPs, or how you run your organization, if you do not have an evaluation or an image of what it should look like in the future, you would less likely be able to identify the current gaps in your current state. I don't know if what I said now just made sense. Okay, so look at your business right now, and then let's look at your business. If you can access the current state, how are we doing things now? And when you are doing this, you segment it according to each process. So how are we doing our people management? How are we doing customer feedback? How are we doing? Do you understand what I'm saying? Every tiny process, bring it out, break it down. Don't just say human resource. Human resource is not a process. Human resource is not a process, right? It's a function. For those of you who know those frameworks, human resource is a function. And under that function, you have processes. So I need to look at within my human resource process, what is a recruitment process like? What is appraisal process like? What are all these processes? Bring them out one after the other and look at the current state of each one. So listen, you don't just say Zoho ERP is a rainy ERP now. Let me go and get my own Zoho. No, that's not how it works is that I will look at my current processes, identify the gaps. Then by the time I've identified the gaps for all of my processes, I will now say, yes, this is the tool that functions. Do you see the mistake many of you have made over the years? What you have done is you are doing technology adoption without process in mind. So the business process engineering approach ensures that as you adopt technology, you are not adopting blindly. You are adopting on the basis that it fits into your future state. That's why some of you started using some tools and you stopped using them because it no longer fits into what you were doing. Am I making sense at all? The room is a little bit quiet. Do you get? Am I making sense? So by the time we identify these gaps, we develop that future state. We now develop it. It's no longer an imagination or a thought. Then we begin to implement the changes. It's in implementing that we now begin to see what tools actually make sense or give us the desired result. Remember, it is a game of results. It's not for me to be the most techie a poultry or the most techie school in Abuja. No, the most techie school can still be doing tech badly. Do you get? So at every point, you adopt an agile method and then you evaluate and iterate. As you evaluate and iterate, you would see that every process is falling in line. And do not, in the name of loyalty to a particular tool, refuse to adopt another tool that will make things more holistic for you. Okay. Wow, my time is gone. Oh my God. Okay, so of course, these are the benefits: competitive advantage, enhanced quality, faster time to market. Those of you in product will understand what I'm saying here. Improved customer satisfaction, increased efficiency, reduced cost, strategic alignment. These are all our benefits. I won't dwell on these benefits because I'm sure you understand what I'm trying to say here. All right, so do you have any questions on this theory before I use my last 5 minutes to show you a practical? Do you have any questions on this theory? I tried my best to, you know, just say as much as I can in these theories. Okay, so any questions for me? If not, let me just show you, let me stop sharing this screen. I'll just show you an example so I will show you an example from an assignment or project I submitted currently on, in school. And that should help you understand how these things actually works in reality. All right. So sorry, let me open that up very quickly. All right, good. I'm there. I've seen it. So let me share screen. Okay. There now. So yes, please let me know if you can see my screen. The screen is a bit little. I mean, the size is a bit little. Let me expand it a bit. I'm just hoping you will be able to get something from this. Yeah, let me expand it very well. Yes, I think. Can anyone see my screen at all?
Yes, we can.
Okay, thank you. All right, so this is an A3 report. Now, I may not, you can Google what an A3 report is. Of course, the concept is that it is done on A3 size, but that's not like the core. That's the reason why it is called an A3 report. But the essence is for you to have a report that you can see everything at a glance. Okay. Now, when you are adopting, so this is an A3 report that I created just for a part of the business process called user feedback, the feedback collection and analysis. So you have, remember I told you, customer service is a function, is not a business process. All right. So under that function, we now have, a part of it is collecting customer feedback and analyzing it. Okay. So if we are to look at this, let's look at this holistically. All right. This is it. There's something called. You understand that I've mentioned everything about business process. So this is like a simple representation of this business process. I'm defining the current condition. That usually I request feedback via email or messaging. I follow up on requests for the feedback. The client sends the feedback. I clean up the data and then I enter it into a spreadsheet. Then I analyze the data and I represent the data so that I can get intelligence for business decisions. However, if I am to do automation, which is, remember the essence is understanding how from my BP diagram, I will now be able to know what technology to adopt. So how can technology come into this, your current process? This is where the proposed automation now comes into play. The proposed automation now says, I will request feedback via a structured form. Can you see? I'm not asking you via email. I'm sending you a structured form. Then in that structured form, there is automated reminder. I'm no longer the one sending you a reminder to give us feedback. When the client fills the form to send the feedback, the data is collected into an analytic platform already. I don't really need to do much of cleaning data because it is a structured form. And then from that, I can analyze and get my dashboard, which I can use for business decision. Now, if you look at this, the next thing your digital transformation expert is thinking of is, based on this business process, what tool can we use to get all of this done at once? Do you see how the thing comes together? So this is it from the diagrammatic part of it. However, the A3 report also ensures that you look at the need for each step. Do we really need each step inside the current condition? What is the root cause analysis? You know your RCA, all right? And then why do we need to automate? What exactly are we automating? Now, any expert that picks this document is able to understand what exactly it is. And executives need to know how to interpret this kind of documents as well. When somebody says, I want to come and do digital transformation for you, I want to transform everything for you, you want to be able to ask the person. You're an informed person. You're a member of SECA Africa. You are more informed. And then you say, look, yeah, I get that you want to do this and that for us, but what is the desired outcome after automation? What is the benefit after automation? What are the risks that we may face after automation? Because many of you have faced this risk, you've suffered with the risk because the tech guy has put the system for you and he has gone. Do you get the gist? So that's just the whole concept. Yeah, so I'll stop here owing to time. I just have 1 minute to take questions. And yeah, that's my time. Thank you so much for listening to me. I just hope I made a little sense to help your business today. Thank you, OBK. Thank you, Madam Tega.
Hello, everyone. So we'll take questions very quickly. If I say what I want to say now, E.S. Bauer, when they say business is war, now I understand what they mean. All of these things, we had no clue that these things actually are a matter, but it's amazing. I'm glad that we learned a lot after this. So do we have any questions that we can take now? Or you can also contribute. You could just say something that stood out to you. One thing that stood out to me was when he said globalization and digital transformation is rapidly shaping how work is seen and done. If you want to stay in business for the long haul, you will understand that there's a lot of disruptions and you must catch up. So if you're not adapting, you'll be left behind. So how are you adapting? That one stood out to me because when the pandemic came, we saw how things change rapidly. A lot of people haven't still got themselves. More is coming. And that's what he's just trying to help us with here. So is there anyone that has any questions? He'll be glad to answer them before we go on our water break to take. In the absence of any questions, does that mean that we all understood and that we will all implement in our businesses? Thank you, E.S. Bauer. Just in case we have questions later, we'll forward them to you, and then you can maybe post them on the group. Does somebody want to say something?
No, saying that yes, I'll implement. The advantages of automation are really, really key, and sometimes it's just the fear we have. But when you think about things like we've had automation on WhatsApp, for instance, or even in text, it's obvious that it's not as hard as we think. Sometimes you just need to reach out to people like him for ways to implement in our businesses or in our, and we can't avoid it. So thank you very much, Samuel. Thank you.
Awesome. I love it. Thank you, Ms. Nkechi. You know, the thing about this is the language may have sounded a bit technical, probably made a few of us dizzy. However, it's broken down. You understand what it means. I just love what you just said, Ma. Thank you also very much. Ms. Lydia says, thank you very much, Mr. Bauer. How do we contact you as a school? We're a small young school in Kaduna. How can they contact you, sir? Okay, maybe he's gone off, but we'll reach out to him. Okay, Uncle BK, you raised your hand, please. You can go ahead, unmute yourself and ask or contribute, please.
Okay, good morning, everyone. I was going to support what the last person said. I think it's Madam Nkechi that said it.
Yeah.
Technology is not in the by and by. It's not far from. is in our everyday life. The fact that you can use Zoom means you're technology compliant. So the fact that you can use WhatsApp means you're technology compliant.
Mhm.
So those are already everyday application of technology. Why should graduate into advanced? Thank you.
Awesome. I love it. Thank you so much. Thank you, Mr. Obike. Really appreciate that feedback. Okay, so Mr. Bawa, are you still here?
Oh, yes, I'm here.
So somebody is asking how they can contact you as a school. They're a small young school in Kaduna.
Oh, okay, yes. Actually, available for you to I mean, I could just maybe drop my number or something, or you could reach me through the Seka community if you're within the
Fantastic.
community. If not, yeah.
Please drop your contacts in the chat room, Bawa.
Okay, yeah. So yeah, I'm doing that now.
Okay, so Mrs. Lydia, I hope you can
Yes,
see that.
so that's
He
my
has dropped
number
his
in the
number.
chat section. It's
And
available on
anybody else,
WhatsApp as well.
anybody else who needs it, Mrs. Lydia, that's the number. You can just reach out to him, and anybody who needs it as well. Please reach out. That's why we're growing the
And
community.
just try and join the community. I have the number. They should flex. They should join the community so that they can be disturbing us up and down.
Exactly. That's why we have a community for everyone to grow. And if you have such a resourceful person in there, take advantage of it now. And of course, it comes at a cost. It's not free. Okay, so thank you, everyone. We have 10 minutes, actually, maybe 9 minutes for everyone to grab water, take a water break, stretch your legs a bit, and we'll be back in 9 minutes so that I can start with the very next speaker. She's already in the room. Thank you so very much. See you in a few minutes. Oh, yes, there is no sound. We are on a very brief break, short break. It's for people to grab water, stretch their legs a bit. That's why we're on a break. We'll begin in another 3 minutes. Okay, we can start getting ready to come back in. If you learned anything, it would be beautiful if you can just put it in the chat room. Let me just hear one line of what you took away from the first session. Let's be sure that we're listening. We went to the water break. Dr. Emmanuel is here, the stress management man himself. If you don't go and drink water or stretch your legs, he will catch you. He will be taking on a session next week, Thursday. And I really, really, really ask that more people are in that room. It's a session that you will thank yourself for. Stress management is a life skill. You will thank yourself. So please be in that session on Thursday. It's our bi-weekly, not bi-weekly. We do it twice a month, every 2 weeks. Fortnight meeting. Yes. In-house training where we talk, and he charges for those classes, but he's going to be giving to us for free on Thursday. Please be in the room. We have over 100 people in the community, and sometimes those sessions we have only like at most 20 people. The turnout can be very low, and we really ask that you come in. Do unto others what you expect that they'll do to you. Come in and listen. This particular one, you will thank me for it afterwards. Trust me. Okay, I think we can start coming back in now. Okay, can we get back in so that we'll start at 11 exactly on the dot? Coach Stella.
Yes, we can, ma.
Yeah,
Are we good to start now?
yes, we can.
Fantastic. Okay. Nkechi M. Anedobe is a seasoned HR professional with over 20 years of experience in the Nigerian energy sector. She has expertise in performance management, talent management, leadership development, and succession planning, amongst others. Nkechi holds a bachelor's degree in psychology from the University of Jos and is passionate about workplace collaboration and intergenerational dynamics. Key highlights: she has a proven track record of achieving significant milestones and driving organizational growth, strong advocate for mentoring and continuous learning, consultant and critic in the Nigerian hospitality industry, focusing on customer value proposition and health and safety standards, passionate about giving back to the community with a particular interest in menstrual education and working with charity organizations to promote awareness and support. I want everyone to welcome her with your very best emoji. Let her feel welcome as she begins her own session. Thank you so much, ma'am. The floor is yours.
Thank you very much. Hi, everyone. Sorry, let me share my video. I was really waving. Please confirm you can see me and that you can hear me.
I can see and hear you, and you look amazingly beautiful today.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Hi, everyone. We have just about 40 minutes. I'm looking at 30 even, and it's a wide topic. So without further ado, let me share my screen. Please let me know once you can see my screen. Presentation mode, presentation mode. Can you see my screen now?
Yes, I can.
Okay, great. Thank you very much, Samuel, for the topic that you spoke on. I find the Pan-African webinars to be extremely rewarding because they help us know what people are thinking. They help us, they help me as a person who works a 9 to 5, as well as moonlighting and other things. They help me see where there are opportunities for growth as a person and as part of a workforce. So what I'm going to be talking about is on intergenerational workplaces. And I know that sounds like a big deal. It is not. So when we're talking about intergenerational potential, we're talking about the fact that if you use your house, for instance, or your family, for people who grew up with their grandparents, you have your grandmother and or grandfather or both. You have your mother, you have you and your siblings. When you get married, you have your children. That's already an intergenerational space. And how do you make things work? So that's really what we're going to be talking about. How do you make that flow of generations work in a workplace, right? So this is what our outline is going to be. We're going to run through it, and I'm going to be asking a lot of questions. We're going to understand what different generations exist, what are the challenges of managing those generations, look at a couple of strategies you will share, I will share, and then we'll talk about mentoring as a major strategy for managing different generations, and then what next? What next is basically going to be our conclusion. So at the end of this session, I expect that you will be able to identify and appreciate the unique strengths and challenges of different generations in the workplace. So replace workplace with my business, my office, my family, my house. Replace it with what works for you. And then you're going to be able to apply effective strategies for managing and leveraging the strengths of these different generations to improve teamwork, productivity, and of course, business outcomes, which will be your revenue, ensuring that you have a talent pipeline, ensuring that you are profit-oriented, ensuring that you have a harmonious workplace, etc. And then you should be able to develop practical plans. That is key to foster a more inclusive and collaborative work environment that values diversity across generations. So for the 3 of these objectives, which is the one that you want to, above everything else? I know all 3 are what we want to do, but which one resonates with you the most? What's the one thing that if you go away from here being able to do, you will say this session was worth it? Please drop 1, 2, or 3 in the chat and let me see what your responses are. Because at the end of it, you're going to then ask me saying, did this work for you or not? So please drop a 1 or 2 or 3. Let me go back to the previous slide. So which of these objectives resonates with you? Do you want to be able to identify and appreciate the unique strengths? Do you want to be able to apply effective strategies? Do you want to be able to develop practical plans? So which one of them resonates the most with you? And I'm an HR person. We can stay here forever. So let me have your responses and then we'll know what works. If you want to unmute and say whether it's a 1 or 2 or 3, please let me know. 3, empty Adeniran, that's important. It's important to be able to have a plan to foster a more inclusive workplace. So anyone else before we move to the next slide? 3, patience, I see that. I think that's important as well. Tosin, thank you very much. So let's go to the next slide. So I'm going to play a short video. I'm not going to ask any questions about it. I just want you to watch the video. If you have anything that strikes you, just note it. At the end of the presentation and our conversation, if I do not refer to it, please ask me why I asked us to watch this video, okay? Sorry, let me take it back. Let me start again. I think in trying to minimize this, okay, so let's go. So let's go ahead and watch it again. Okay, like I said, it was a short one. I don't drink Red Bull, so it's not an advert, but I liked the video, and that's why I shared. Give me 1 second, please. I was working with a different laptop which was misbehaving, and the power is low on this. I'll be back in 2 shakes of a lamp still. Sorry, I'm in a hotel and that place doesn't work. So I'm going to take you into a slightly darker area, but it shouldn't affect what we're doing. Please confirm you can still see me and we shall proceed. Are we good? Tega, are we good? Stella, are we good?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay,
I
thank you.
can still see you.
Great. So let us start. So there are different generations in the workplace, and if you look at the slide on the screen, you'll see that I have labeled them T, B, X, Y, Z. So we have people like my mom who are silent traditionalists. They're born between 1928 and 1945. They'll be aged between 78 and 95 right now. You have the baby boomers, age 59 to 77. I titled them a B. You have my generation, born between 1965 and 1980, we're Generation X. Yeah. You have the Generation Y. They're also called the millennials, born between 1981 and 1996. And you have the Generation Z, born between 1997 and 2012. So please, in the chat, drop your generation. Either use, a T, B, X, Y, Z. So let's just know what generation that you are in. And it's important because there's something we're going to do with this information. There's nothing here that is just for fun, So let's have your generations. I can see X's, Y's. We're going to collect money from these Y's. They're the ones who just come and fill up the space. Oh yeah, let's FM Pet Care. There's no generation like that too. So it is your silent traditionalist all the way through to Generation Z. So are you between 78 and 95, you're a T, 59 to 77, you're a B, 43 to 58, you're an X, 27 to 42, you're a Y, and then 11 to 26, you're a Z. So I'm going to move on, but just please keep dropping your generations. I'm going to just quickly type, maybe I should just type that here so that people can easily see. There's a Generation Z. Tega, please, please we're not even considering you in this conversation any longer. That was the scam. Okay, Generation Y, I know Lua, interesting. That's nice to know. So I haven't seen any Generation Z. We have more X's and Y's. I haven't even seen a B. And I suspect that if we had a fuller house, we'd have some B's. So just note that there are different generations, the same way that we have a number of us here, who are talking, and we work in different places. We have different generations. There's a Z. Yay. Hi, Yusuf. Remember that that's the same thing that will play out in your workplace. So if you're an entrepreneur, a small business owner, a medium-sized business owner, you're a conglomerate person, we have our B. Please, 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 please drop a nice emoji for Mr. Kunle Abiade. Welcome, baby boomer. So remember that this is what plays out in your workplace. When you're setting up teams, you have people from different generations, and each generation has its peculiarities. There's no generation here that is better. Forget how we like to treat some generations like these people are a problem. every generation counts, and we will see how we can manage those generations, because sometimes we try to avoid certain generations. We don't want stress, but each generation has what it brings to the table. Lydia is a B as well. Welcome, Lydia Wire. Thank you very much. So we have two generation Bs so far. So I'll move to the next slide. Sorry, which generation do you belong to? And we've stated. So there's another question I need to ask, and that is, and I need one or two people to speak, or at least one person from each generation. What do you think is the biggest misconception about your generation in the workplace? So what's one thing that you think people, is a myth, is a falsehood about your generation in the workplace? I'd like to start with a Generation Z person. The two Zs, please, can you just, you can unmute and tell me what's one thing that you know people say about your generation and you know is untrue? You know, one person from each generation, anyone who's first can just go ahead and speak. Let's hear that, because we'll need to address some of those. Any takers? Don't worry, it's a safe space. It's a safe space. There's no, we're here to learn. We're here to learn. And I ask this in particular because I know that one generation that people seem to have a lot of issues with is the younger part of the millennials entering Gen Z, right? There are a lot of people say they can be very lazy, they can be very hot-headed. If I'm saying the right thing about what people think about your generation, please just drop it in the chat. People say they can be very lazy, they don't like to work. And one of the reasons I chose this topic was because in my office, I had done something on understanding different generations, I think about 4 years ago. And in one of my most recent teams, before I changed roles, I think I was leading a team of about 20 people, and I think 9 of them were among my direct 9 were Gen Zs, young people, and in all honesty, they do a lot of work. So I also know that for my generation, we're seen as very hard, and then for the older generation, we look at them like, some of you don't even want to understand anything. So there are misconceptions around each generation, and we need to know that when we are addressing people, so that we don't build our unconscious biases for a whole generation and flood it on one person, okay? So one of the things that we need to think about when we want to work with other generations is, what do those generations value, right? Mr. Kunle or Madam Lydia, I'm going to need either of you to unmute and please tell me, what is one thing in the workplace, in business, in family, what's one thing that is very important to you as a person of your generation? Tega. So please, Mr. Kunle or Madam Lydia, what's one thing that is very important to you in the workplace or in business, to your generation? What do you think is one thing that you want to share? I hope they're still on the call.
Hello.
Yes, sir. Please go ahead.
Sorry, I'm moving about. You know, in the workplace now, I mean, in our generation, we are more responsive to and so instructions, you know. But in this generation now, it's we're having challenges like that. The present generation, they don't want to be pushed. They don't want to be well trained. They have a different sphere of life and even work, and they believe things should be taken very, very easy. So it's sometimes a bit challenging to us to swap the two, how we grew up and what we are facing now in the workplace. It's a bit challenging.
Thank you very, very much. Thank you, sir. I've summarized what you said to say new generation wants to take things easy. They don't want hard work, right?
Exactly.
Thank you, sir. So let me have one person from Generation X say, and you can't say what Mr. Kunle has said. He's spoken for the baby boomers. So from Generation X. And if no one speaks, I will put Stella on the spot, Stella and Tega. So what's one thing that you value as a generation? I'm counting down. Once I get to 1, Stella has to speak. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6. Yeah, I'm correct. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Stella, you are an employer of labor. What's
I
one?
am a Y, ma. I am a Y. I'm not an X.
Oh, you're a Y.
No.
Where is Y? Oh no, sorry, Tega. Tega, you're not an X.
She's a Y and she's an
Ah.
X. No, she's an X.
Tega, oh yeah, come and speak for your people. What's
I'm
one
not
thing
X,
that
I
you
am
value?
Y.
I don't trust this. This sounds like fraud. This starting to sound like fraud.
I am a Y.
Okay. Speaking for the wise, my apologies for this. Speaking for the wise, what's one thing that you value as a generation that you want to share?
I think respect.
Okay.
Respect, very much. Yes, respect. Because that's one thing that I believe irks me about Gen Z. They don't really believe in respect. And respect I think is something that's very important to my generation.
Okay, that's great. Thank you very much. Madam Lydia says most people think that once they are 70 plus, they think that they are done with life and therefore have no business getting involved, working with young people. Interesting perspective. I believe that I still have an active brain that should be put to use, and we can still contribute positively, though slowly. Keeping our brain inactive is killing ourselves slowly and faster. Thank you very much for that. I really appreciate that feedback, ma. Then MT Adeniran, he's not even waiting. Millennials, he said it once and he said it again. And it's important that we note that. He said, millennials, we just want involvement and to be seen and heard. So we've had 3 very serious perspectives, and I think it's important that we note that. I'm going to ask Stella, since you don't have any of your younger people, please, you're going to help me collate those bits of information in a chat. I'm going to need them later. Ben, please go ahead and speak before we move to the next slide.
Yeah, thank you. I'm Dr. Ben Onoja. I'm the younger colleague of Dr. Kunle Abiade.
Welcome, sir.
Yes. So I'm in the Generation X group. And yes. So in my own group, we value punctuality. Yeah, so punctuality is one of our major values in our group. So anyone that is not punctual is not really blending with our group. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. So I'm smiling broadly because that's my generation. And I would rather get to work at 7:30 and ensure that everything, sorry, I actually did do not disturb. I don't know what's going on. I'd rather get to work at 7:30 so that before the cleaners are done, I've gotten my head straight. So when we have a meeting, whether it's in person, online, and the people who are setting up the meeting are coming late, and someone says it's Nigerian time, I'm like, no. Let's not do that. So yes, it's our generation. High five. So Korede is here. Is Korede here?
Yes,
Yes,
she's
I
here.
am. Good morning, ma.
Korede, let's not fight. Oh yeah, tell us. What do you value? What's one thing that your generation really, really values and wants us to know?
What I believe our generation values and the misconception with Gen Z is that, oh, Gen Zs don't like hard work, but Gen Zs love smart work. We believe everything does not have to be hard. Let's look for better ways to make things work, smarter ways and faster ways than the routine or the normal way things are meant to be done. Smarter ways and better ways. So yes, that's what I believe. Gen Zs.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. And I'm glad Korede is on the call. It drives home some of the things I will be looking at later around the different teams, what makes different teams work. Even though Stella is rolling her eyes, if Korede decides she doesn't want to work today, Stella might just roll on the floor. So all that,
I'm
all
even
that
giving Korede a side eye from here.
okay, see, let's not have that. Let's South Africa, we should keep your wahala at the side. But thank you everyone who has contributed. I really, really like that each generation is represented in the things that they have said, and even in the way that we have said it. So if you notice the way that we said it, when I think it was Dr. Bayo, no, Dr. Ben. When Dr. Ben and I spoke, we spoke with gravitas. When Stella and Tega were talking, it was one kind of high life manner. When when Dr. Kule was talking, it was some serious, gravitas more than Dr. Ben and I. When Korede spoke, it was like it was chill. But even in her chill, it was serious. So this is one of the underlying things that we also need to be aware of: the pitch, the tone. Because if someone doesn't speak like me, it is easier for me to read a wrong meaning into what they are saying or give a different weight, either higher or lower, to what they are saying because they are not like me. So thank you everyone who has shared. We've noted your values, and let me share what I got from the internet. So one thing I'm going to say is, I was going to ask about it later, or maybe we will, but if you look at what is shared here, you will see that we are different in the most in the most funny ways, in the funniest of ways, right? The way we want communication done is different. And you will notice that if you look at it at the things that are shared here, you will notice that even while you might be a Generation X person, there are certain things that you might find yourself doing that is peculiar to another generation. Well, I say this because I need us to understand that we are not necessarily boxed into different generations. We have things that are peculiar to us, but we're human beings. So we have characteristics that we might have picked from different generations simply because of the way we have related or because of personality differences. And I'll use one example, which is communication. So I am smack a Gen X person. I'm 49. I am not a baby boomer. I am not a millennial. Communication preference is email and in-person meetings, right? That's what it says. My communication preference is WhatsApp or anything other than in-person meetings. Sam Obafemi knows this very well. Stella knows this very well. To get me to sit down for a meeting, I'm like, but I can hold a meeting with the Fortune 500 companies if I need to do that today via WhatsApp. So but my majority of my generation will prefer in-person meetings. Baby boomers are seen as hardworking, motivated, and team-oriented. The older people are seen as loyal, reliable, and tactful. What this means is that because it has been couched like this, you might now find it easy to say that means that these other people might not be loyal. It's not necessarily. It just means that these things are easier to see, easier to define, and are held more closely by certain generations. So let's go down to the one that we had discussed when we said, what are your values? So we say, what are they motivated by? Traditionalists, like my mom, are motivated by respect. For anybody who has a grandmother, you know that even if you are the youngest grandchild, it doesn't matter how much you play with your grandmother, especially when you are in public, you now walk in and you don't, if you're a Yoruba person, you don't, you know that day you're going to hear it. Your mother, you will know how your mother did not raise you. They will tell you the things that your village has done and not done, because for them, it is not a joke. For my generation, it is work-life balance. For Dr. Kunle's generation, it's teamwork. Some of these things might not be the way that it matters to you, but if you sit down and reflect on things that you have done as your team, as a leader, as a team member, you will realize that these things are actually pretty true because they're gotten from surveys carried out by respectable organizations like the Society for Human Resource Management. For the millennials, is responsibility, which is curious because even for millennials, we tend to think of them in a funny way. And then for Generation Z, like Korede said, it is creativity. Remember that Korede said smart work. So it's not that Korede does not want to work. It is that where Dr. Kunle might expect me to come to work at 7:30 and be writing, and be carrying the file up and down. Korede's generation is like, in the first place, why do I need a file? Why do I need to sit at a desk when I can do this entire meeting and take the notes on my phone? And at the end of it, instead of presenting you with a hardbound document, I present you with something. So my generation will do a zipped file. Korede's generation will present you a single infographic with 50 emojis that they understand. And it is just the different ways in which we work, which we then have to bring together in the workplace. So I hope that kind of throws some more light on that. Sorry if I keep looking to the right. I'm an HR person, so I'm checking my time. Okay, so having discussed the characteristics of our different generations, what then makes it hard for us to manage different generations in the workplace? So Stella has people that work with her, because Stella also takes interns once in a while. I'm sure even generations unborn, Stella has really dealt with them. And I'm sure quite a number of you have also dealt with different generations. So before I show what's on my slides, I'm going to ask again. So I know we've spoken about some of them when we were saying they don't like hard work. So what are the challenges we have experienced? Just 2 or 3 people tell me one challenge they have had with managing a generation, and not the one that you have already said. So for Dr. Kunle, for instance, if you are speaking to Generation Z or the millennials, don't speak about what you have said. Just one challenge for each for managing different generations. So let me have 2, 3 people. You can either speak or drop it in the chat, and then I'll show what I have. I think we've established that I can wait. So who's going to go? Dr. Ben, please go ahead. Any generation.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you so much. I think it's not that I'm indicting the Gen Z so much, but the point is that the Gen Zs are so much impatient. They want it fast. They want it more than 1,000 times faster than you would have expected it. And it would have been good if with that speed, they are able to deliver well. But with that speed, when they submit some things, you discover that it's actually off the track. So why insist on a very fast speed and very low production at the end of the day? So if you must maintain speed, then let it be accompanied with commensurate perfection. So you have to cool down your mind, be patient enough, either to learn the work you're supposed to do very well, or to carry out the assignment with more precision than emphasizing on impatience or speed without good production. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Doctor. So let me tweak that a bit. So when you have a Gen Z team, you have a Gen Z member in your team, and from the way I assume that you have you have different generations in your team. So you know that you have people who are, as in your own words, impatient, and you have other generations. What are the challenges of managing that mix? I think that's what I meant. What are the challenges of managing a mix of different generations?
Yeah, the challenge is that now the big group will want to take it gently and slowly and still finish well. While the Gen Zs will now want it very fast, but will not finish well. So what will now happen is that you will now tell the Gen Zs to do the ones that will be faster in production, and then when they finish that their speed on, you now hand over to the ones in the B group to now fine tune. So you will have a very good blend because the Gen Zs have finished it faster, but imperfectly. Then those in the B group will now perfect it and fine tune it very well. Thank you.
Thank you, Doctor. See how Doctor has already gone from analysis of the problem to giving an example to giving a solution. I think I can go now. It's just that Stella is not paying me, and I've said I've earned my salary for today. But thank you very much, Doctor, for that. Does any other person have anything to share? So we can, if no one does, we can just move. But I really like the perspective that Doctor gave to that.
Sorry, I want to also add that I'm also joining you from Malaysia.
Oh,
It's already evening in my own place, 6:30 p.m. already in my place.
Are you bringing palm kernel, their own palm kernel back so we can just try? So we can
In fact, their palm kernel, you don't need to climb to cut it. You stand on the ground and you do the cutting.
You have to send us pictures.
The whole stem is made up of palm fruits.
Interesting.
The whole stem. So it's so wonderful breed they have and variety. Yeah.
Second Africa is doing there.
Yeah.
Thank you, Doctor. Thanks a lot.
Thank you. Thank you.
I'm going to move on. I think what Doctor has said has really captured one of the major difficulties of managing different generations, and I put it in the chat. You have the challenge of different expectations from different generations and then different quality of work. Whenever we say these things, please remember that there's a thing about communication, right? Or about expectations. What I see as an issue might not be the way the person that I see it as an issue with is seeing it. So let's always remember that at the back of our minds, because that will help us in the next couple of slides. So this is what I have, diversity, and that speaks to what Doctor just said, different work styles and expectations. You know, we spoke earlier, Korede spoke about working smarter, and MT Adeniran spoke about wanting to be seen and to be heard. You get, so those are already two different work styles and different expectations. And then you have the older generations that also have what their expectations are. Then you have frictions. Quite often when you have different work styles, you will have conflicts and misunderstandings. It's a natural thing, even in marriages, even in dealing with our own children. And I'm sure even twins have conflicts and misunderstandings. So imagine having that with generations that are very different. Or like in Doctor's case, you have a work team, or like in my case, where I have people who are reporting to me who are older than me, my peers, younger than me, and then much younger. So you will have conflict because it is a natural part of developing a team. And lastly, you then have the disconnect that comes from when either of these is not well managed. You have a communication breakdown, which, if not well handled, can just derail your team. And it is as important as having one person in the team who is a misfit or a wrong fit at that time. So the person doesn't have to be a bad person. The person just has to not be well understood by the team or not well brought into the team. And then you have a breakdown that can just derail everything. So those are the challenges. And then let's speak to the strategies for managing different generations. So there's something that Dr. Ben said, which really, really, really impressed me. And he spoke about, it's almost like when you go to the wharf or to where they're doing a packing thing, and you see that the first level of work is done by one person and then is given to another person. So you identify what a person's strength is and you play to their strength. And then you now move it to another person. So some of the strategies that we're going to be looking at address some of the challenges that we have. The first one is flexibility. And right here, flexibility speaks primarily to how do we work together, depending on what the different generations require. So let me ask Tega for Gen Y, right? And MT Adeniran, and also Korede. What does flexibility mean to you in terms of your workplace? Just, you can either unmute or just type one word in the chat. What does flexibility mean to you? This keeps happening. So what does flexibility mean to you?
Okay, being able to work at flexible working hours. I don't have to be seated 9 to 5.
Okay.
Work. I can do it at any time. Wake up in the middle of the night and just get the work done for the day somehow.
Okay, flexible working hours.
Hours, yes.
Anybody else want to share?
Okay, for me, I think sometimes you will have a standard or you have an expectation, but flexibility involves understanding that, yes, that is your expectation, but things can go on along the way. And having like a super or let me say you have a high standard, right? But the expectation that comes through the process may not meet that standard. So accommodating and valuing that these other people or the people working are putting their best to even achieve that is accommodating their excesses or their mistakes, not lowering the standard, but knowing that it may not come through the way you want it to come through, but still achieving the same result.
Okay, sorry, who's speaking?
Antia Denira.
Oh, thank you very much. Thank you very much. Okay, so we have flexibility around working hours, flexibility around strategies, accommodating mistakes and different strategies to achieve the desired outcome. Good. So that's very key, because quite often when we hear flexibility, we think of either working hours or working from home. But Mr. Adeniran said something really, really good, which is we have agreed that we are going to get to point Z. Point Z means that I'm going to have a slide that speaks to what SECA Africa's bottom line is. And while I want the outcome to be an infographic, the outcome to state our profit and loss, etc. So one person might want to do infographics, one person might want to do something else. There are different methods of getting there, and it's important that we accommodate mistakes, and that also helps us build on each person's strengths. So we also speak about check-ins, and check-ins are really around communication, ensuring that you hear from different people, and not a common mistake that leaders make. I have made that mistake several times, even while being a leadership development manager. Sometimes we just assume, quite often you have to bring the voices to the table and hear from them. And then we speak, of course, about collaboration. Collaboration is very important when you have a diverse group, especially when you have a diverse group. When we speak about diversity, we speak about gender, we speak about religion, we speak about many things, but generational differences are extremely key to understand. And collaboration means that you bring everybody in. It doesn't mean that you become overly democratic for those who know about the different leadership styles, no. But it means that everybody's voice is valued in the journey, right? But the most important thing for me from this slide is actually mentorship. Sorry, please mute. It's actually mentorship. Sorry, I'm going to do something. 1 second. Stella, can we mute that person? My mother has been calling. Please just give me 30 seconds. Let me just take her call. Thank you. Thank you very much for your patience and for your understanding. So I was talking about mentorship as a strategy for managing different generations. And I'm not in my home base, otherwise I'd have showed you the book that Sam Obafemi wrote on mentorship. And if Chima, Tega, Stella, if we have a copy of that, please show me that book. When I became a manager for the first time, I ordered that book, quite a number of it, and gave to my teammates, my younger people actually. But that book is something that book and books like it are things that are very, 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 very important for me and for each person here. The title of the book is You Are Not Enough. And that underpins the role of mentoring in anything. And when we think of mentoring, we think about, so Dr. Kunle is older than me. He will mentor me. I'm older than Stella. I will mentor Stella. Stella is older than Korede. But no, mentoring has the top-down mentoring, peer mentoring, and very importantly, reverse mentoring. It's important that we learn to mentor people because mentoring helps, for younger people, helps us develop them into the kind of people we want in our career, in our organization, and we give them the space to make mistakes. But it's important that we have check-ins with our peers. So for many reasons, in many ways, Stella is my peer. We're both HR people. Whether I'm older than her or not, she's my peer. And it's important that I have people like her around to exchange information with, to go to say, Stella, you have been CEO of this company. That's a role I have never held. In my new role, I am faced with some of the challenges and opportunities that you have met. So I need you to mentor me. But those are informal mentoring because we don't work in the same organization. So in your teams, in your workplaces, in your offices, you need to identify and put in place deliberate mentoring strategies. If your company or organization is big enough for you to have people mentor one another, that's fine. If it's not big enough, informal mentoring works. And you have informal mentoring in a variety of ways. You have professional organizations for people who are members of CIPM, members of COREN, etc. You have people in those places that you can tell, oh boy, look, I have this number of people that I think it would be nice for you to mentor. And many leaders are willing to take that up. In organizations or in groups like the various SECA groups, the OSP, etc., you have people that you can reach out to. And that's a good way of building your chops, building your team's chops as leaders and as mentors and even as mentees. So look for opportunities where you as a business owner can network, leverage those networks to build mentoring opportunities for your teammates. I'm not going to dwell too long on this because we're running out of time. I'm going to move to the next one. But please, if there are any ways in which you have taken advantage of mentoring, please just drop it in the chat and we will be able to pull that together and share later. So I've actually come to the end of my my slides. I'm particular about time. So I kept glancing so that we don't stay too long here. But before we conclude, I'm going to ask, what's one thing that you have taken away from this, right? If we go back to the objectives that we had, we asked for the objective that stood out to you the most. And for a number of people, it was the third objective, which was a plan that they could work with. So let me hear from anybody, any two people, what's one thing that you can do differently based on what you have, what you know, what we have discussed? Because I wasn't teaching, we were discussing, because these are things that we do every day. So let me hear one thing from two.
That they increase my funds.
Okay, Dr.
I don't want to see something for our platform again.
Okay, Dr. Ben, please go ahead.
The increasing of the fund was not making me go.
Stella, I'm going to need you to mute that person, please. Dr. Ben, please go ahead. Yeah.
Okay, thank you so much. One major thing I'm taking away from here is highly specialized and skilled reverse mentorship, such that I can learn from the Gen Z the area that they are very good at, and they can mentor me in that area. Thank you very much.
Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you very much. Stella, somebody should type that. Somebody should just type that. And it's very important because reverse mentoring has done a lot for me. It has done, when I say a lot, it has been huge. And thank you very much for sharing that. In the chat, Newton said collaboration. Very, very true. MT Adeniran, please go ahead. What's one thing that you're taking away from this?
So one thing I'm taking away from this is identifying each generation's values as they said it and as they've seen it. Because usually those values that we feel, and that's what makes them who they are, we feel that's what's making them not easy to work with. If we look at it properly, it's actually adding the diversity to the team. So seeing those strengths actually enable that goal that I said will be better in the workplace, knowing how to work in inclusion.
Yeah.
Strengthens the team. So identifying those values and putting it together to work to make the team stronger. It's the values for each team that make them special. So thank you.
Thank you very much. I couldn't have said that as well as you said it. It's very important that and that's a lot of work really, because it means that if you have, for me, for instance, I had people from, I think, as young as 24 to someone who's close to 60. So it means that you have to do a deliberate thing, and it can be in your head. For Christians, you know what the Bible says, what's that thing about vision, write it and make it plain or something like that. You need to write out. MT Adeniran is 78 years old. She is a traditionalist. Stella is 11 years old. She is a Gen Z. You need to write out what the values are. And quite often we need to have that conversation with them, which is where pulling people into the room matters. So this is what I see. This is what I see. What matters to you? And for HR people, you do this through an onboarding process. Because when you're planning an onboarding, you are noting what is important to you as an organization, and then you are putting it to the person and finding out how they fit into that space. So thank you very much. We can't really take much more. I'm just going to highlight the things that I had written. So we said the things that I wrote were: one, working in intergenerational groups has great advantages, one of which is reverse mentoring. And like MT Adeniran said, it is the joy, the beauty of the diversity. Then the next thing is being deliberate helps. Write the vision, make it plain. This is what I want my company, my team to be like. This is what each generation has. This is what they do not like. This is how I am going to bridge the gap so that we have our eye on the North Star and we get there easily. Mentoring is key. We've said that: up, peer, down, and reverse. And I think that's the last one. And we said by understanding and embracing the differences between generations, we can unlock the potential of our teams and achieve greater success. H.J. Chama says, if you want it to happen, measure it. If you want it to be repeated, recognize it. Because for all of us in every team, in every generation, we all like to be told, good job. So well done, everyone, for being here. Thank you very much. And if you have any questions, drop them in the chat. I will respond to them later. Thank you to SEC Africa for the opportunity, and it's been nice doing this with you. Thank you very much.
Awesome. We love it. We really love it. I'm very grateful that I even was in this class. I love it very much because we have to actually find a way to bridge this gap instead of the generational wars that are beginning to happen. So we can have our questions now, or you can just put it in the chat what you, like you said, what you take from this. You can put it in the chat or put your questions and she'll take it. Do we have any questions? Okay, so in the absence of any questions, we can go on a very short break again. And then SECA Africa afterwards has announcements before we start the third and final session. So if you want to grab something, you can just get up and quickly go grab. If you want to invite someone to come in, you can go send a message to the person right now, and the person can come in. And don't forget, you're not meant to write every note verbatim. What stands out to you and what you can immediately apply are the things that you should be taking note of. Thank you all, and we'll take a very short break, less than 5 minutes, and then SECA Africa will take the announcements. Thank you.
Hashtag, I think you're muted. We can't hear you.
So our break is up now. And so we're going to be taking announcements and information from the SECA Africa team. Coach Stella, over to you, ma'am.
Hello, BK, you have the floor.
Okay, good afternoon, everyone. My apologies, my video will be coming up, but I just want to share a quick announcement from SECA. I believe we can take note of these announcements. They are interesting opportunities that we have lined up. All that we have been pushing and saying boils down to the fact that we really cannot do much alone, except we have people together working towards a defined vision, a defined goal. And that brings us to the subject of community. So the class you are seeing holding tomorrow, 1st June at 7 p.m. It will be nice that you're in that class, because all we are talking about is the dynamics of building a vibrant community. Everyone who is on the community membership and subscription platform gets into the class for free, but non-members are encouraged to come in for a token, 15,000, which is actually the annual subscription to the community membership and subscription portal. So you can just go to simonbafemi.com/subscription to get to know more about how you can join. And just a way of reiterating that the subscription membership portal is that one-stop place where you are learning everything community. So with 15,000, you can have an annual subscription. You have weekly videos. You have 24 videos, you have weekly mails, you have tasks to do from those videos, and of course, lots of freebies and classes, just like the one we'll be having tomorrow. So imagine what 15,000 will do for you for 12 months. That means that this is a very good time for you to come on board. The link is samobafemi.com/subscription. It helps you to learn more about building a community, integrating people of the several background and professional background. How can I build a community around what I do? If it's a course, how can you do a community around it? If it is a project, how can I build a community around it? Whatever the idea of product is, how can you build an organic support? How can you build a community around it? So those are very important things you need to take note. And I believe that you will be there tomorrow. Remember, non-members, you're paying 15,000, which translates to your annual membership to join that class tomorrow. And of course, the subscription platform. Finally, from my end, just by way of reiterating that next Thursday is a very important class. Free. You're not paying anything to join. We are discussing the hidden cost of stress. Are there implications with stress? And how can we go about that? So Dr. Manuel will be a resource person and he's looking forward to seeing all of us. It is free. You may just have to take note of the number in the comment section or the number showing right now so that you can get the link by Thursday. Chat us up to know how you can join this class. It is free and you should be there. Thank you very much. Coach Tega?
Thank you, OBK. That was very straight to the point. Please don't forget the announcements. You should be in the room on Thursday. You will have a good time, I promise you. So we're on to the third and the final session for the day. And I'd like to read his bio. Okay. So Dr. Adekunle Abiade, FCVSN, small animal internal medicine consultant, medical doctor, pet care animal hospital, and pet care diagnostic services. He is a distinguished small animal veterinarian with over 39 years of active clinical experience. He's the medical doctor, medical director, and chief consultant at Pet Care Animal Hospital, Pet Care Diagnostic Services based in Lagos, Nigeria. He's a fellow and consultant in small animal internal medicine, a member of the governing council and lecturer at the Postgraduate College of Veterinary Surgeons in Nigeria. He currently serves as the president of the Small Animal Veterinary Association Nigeria, SAVAN. He is also a member of the accreditation committee of the Veterinary Council of Nigeria, the nation's highest veterinary regulatory body. Internationally, Dr. Abiade is a member of the World Small Animal Veterinary Association, where he also contributes as a member of the Membership and Nomination Committee, a prominent committee with the organization. He's a wellness coach and a relationship counselor. He has a passion for advocating for organic food production, a committed holistic lifestyle enthusiast, and an avid gardener who strongly believes in natural living as a foundation for optimal health. His hobbies include traveling, gardening, and indulging in creative holistic practices and lifestyles. He was married to late Veronica Nkechi and blessed with 3 wonderful children, including many loving pets. Please celebrate with me, Dr. Adekunle Abiade. Celebrate him with the best emojis that you have ever. Since we can't unmute and scream or clap, please celebrate him as he comes in. Thank you so much, sir. You have the floor now.
Thank you, Coach Tega. Thank you, Coach Tega, for the wonderful introduction. And I want to say a big thank you to OSP SAC Africa for this wonderful opportunity to give this presentation. I'm not taking it for granted. I want to say a big thank you to Coach Obafemi for inviting me to OSP. And it has been a wonderful journey so far. I'm going to be speaking on a very important, I'm going to be sharing my slide now. Kindly allow me to share my slide. I'm taking you on a journey today. A journey to know about animals. I know most of us we know about processes, we know about HR, we know about digitization and all that. But I want you to have a peep into the world of animals. So my topic is more than companions, how pets transform or shape our lives. Can you see my slide now?
Yes, sir.
Okay, great.
Yes, sir.
So, I hope we are ready. I'm going to be showing so many pictures, so many slides, and I believe that by the end of this presentation, many of us will be seeing our animals in the different lights. We will be hearing some things for the first time, and I've attended so many seminars concerning about the mental health, about our physically disadvantaged, challenge, children. And I want to bring out how our animals can actually help. So that is just a preview of most of the things I will be discussing, and that's what I put in pictures. Okay, I'll be picking on them one after the other. So, Note France says, until one has loved an animal, a part of one's soul remains unawakened. So today, I want you to put on the chat room, if you have a pet, put 1. I don't have, put 0. I hope that the number of 1 will be more than 0 today. So if you have a pet, just put 1. I'm not saying. Okay, I'm seeing a lot of zeros. I'm seeing a lot of zeros. So most of us, we don't have pets. Wow. Okay, maybe by the end of this talk, most of us will go and pick a pet, and you will see the beautiful benefits that I'm showing you so many different pets that you can have. We have dogs, cats. I can see some snakes. I can see snakes there. I'll talk about the parrots, rabbits, different small animals that we can have. It is a beautiful thing to have a pet, at least 1. So I'm showing you a dog as a pet, cats as pets. cats are very affectionate, they're independent. They have very low maintenance and they occupy small space, unlike our dogs. Most of our single ladies are now acquiring cats now, unlike before, when we firstly believed that they are witchcraft animals. So it's the paradigm is changing now. Then you can see people now having rabbits in their homes as part of the indoor pets. Rabbits are very affectionate, they are very intelligent. They also have low maintenance compared to dogs and cats. You can also have birds as pets. You know, they are wonderful, beautiful, with nice singing voices, providing entertainment for you and joy just to admire their beauty. Some people also have chickens as pets. You can see that this boy lovingly cuddling the chicken. So it's a beauty. You can also have aquarium fish. I mean, imagine you coming from home stressed, and then you're sitting in front of your fish bowl or aquarium tank and just be admiring the beauty of these God's creatures. Yes, you can see me. I know some of you will be shrinking now. You can see me in with a snake, you know, and some of you will ask, should I have a snake as a pet? In Nigeria, we don't. It's not accepted for you to have snakes as pets, but in other climes they don't mind. I went to the place of my of Dr. Mark Ofua, and who has in its sanctuary some snakes. That is a python snake. They don't bite. That's why I can use it as a necklace on my neck. They don't bite you. I can hold it and play around with it. They don't. Maybe one day we will do a story on such beautiful animals. So I will just take you on a journey on the historical bond between humans and animals. You know, animals in the 15,000 to 30,000 years ago, that's what we call Paleolithic era. Dogs, for instance, they were the first domesticated animals, and they are believed to have been descended from wolves. While in the Neolithic age, between 9,000 and 1,000 years ago, animals are now domesticated and used as beasts of burden. They are used for farming, they are used for transportation. Whereas in the 18th to 20th century, the rise of pet keeping, okay, in homes and in a community begin to rise, because pets are now no longer regarded as properties, but companions in the house. And in the 21st century, pets are now fully embraced as family members. So there was a rise in pet wellness, and terms like fur babies, pet parents begin to reflect the bond between animals and human beings. So today, it's improper for you to use even it for animal. I mean, people now regard their pets as part of the family, and they call it, oh, it's my baby. Oh, this is my first baby. This is my last baby, and it's a real good shift that we are enjoying. So I've been looking at the emotional and psychological benefits of having a pet, and in this picture, I'm looking at the mental health benefits. We have a lot of mental health therapists in the house. I know that, and this is one of the things. And many studies have validated that pet offers emotional and psychological benefits. People now, you can derive a lot of emotional support, a lot of when you have a pet around, it makes you feel safe, even against intruders, because you know that you have a protector. It reduces anxiety, depression,
It provides some sensory stress relief. Now, studies have validated that when you even stroke an animal, or a pet or a cat, serotonin, which we regard as the happy hormone, is released, while cortisol, which is a stress hormone, reduces in you. Imagine you have gone out and you are stressed, and your pet clings to you, comes to cuddle you, and for 5 or 10 minutes, you are distressing yourself by just playing with your pet. It's enough to give you a real mental shift that will make you so relaxed and so happy, irrespective of the stress you must have gone through. So now dogs are now being regarded as emotional support. A lot of people, especially our elderly, the young ladies, the young men, now believe that, yes, it gives you this sense of completeness, sense of wholeness if you have a dog, for instance. It also prevents loneliness. My mother, before she died, she lived alone to about 86, and she didn't have anybody with her but our 2 dogs. Anytime we asked her, let's get somebody, she said, I don't need, I have my 2 dogs. So to her, it prevents loneliness, it prevents unnecessary, depression, because you can always talk to them. We're also getting to that age whereby the parents are no longer staying with the children again, and it is at this age that we need to have pets. It is believed that when you have pets, it improves your mood. It creates that happiness mood in you, and it makes you feel kinky and happy, and release stress and anxiety. You can see that man cuddling that. You can see the expression in his face, beautiful expression. That no money can buy. It's also allowing you to relax. Cats, for instance, are very independent but loving pets. You look at that lady on the bed stroking, and you can see the expression on her face, beautiful expression that's making her so fulfilled. That's as if she holds the whole world in her hands, and that is all the benefits you can derive from pets. Well, we're looking at pets and children. We've seen a lot of studies that have been done, that yes, when you have a child growing up with a pet, that responsibility of feeding that pet every day, the empathy, the day-to-day rigors that that child is going through. And if it continues with that, it makes that child to grow up as a responsible child, as a child that, yes, is very independent, and it helps with his development, makes them rounded, even when their cognitive development is improved. So a lot of people, I have one boy that was so unruly, and the parent did everything humanly possible until I told them, let's get him a pet if he likes, because the boy loves pets, especially a dog. We got him a dog with a proviso that if you must play with that dog, you must do your own work. From that day that we got the pet in, the dog will do its own work, we feed, and the boy totally changed and became a very responsible, a very balanced boy. And that is what ownership of pets can do. Okay, pets with elderly. I've told you about my mother, and the pets are very, very good with the elderly, especially if they are living alone. We have so many physical benefits of ownership of pets. One of them is physical activity. Imagine
Dr. Kunle, can you hear us? Can you hear me, sir? Coach Tega, are you there, ma?
Yes, I am. I think network has thrown him out.
Hello, sorry for the glitch. Can you hear me now?
Welcome back, sir. Yes. I can hear you, sir.
Hello? Can you hear me?
Loud and clear,
Yes, sir.
We can hear you now, sir.
Huh?
We can hear you now, sir.
Okay, thank you very much. Sorry for the glitch. The network just went off. I'm using my phone now, so I am just giving a minute to get back to the slides so I can be sharing slides.
Okay, sir.
Can you see my slides now? No.
Recording.
Okay.
I can see your slides, sir. Hello, sir. Are you speaking? Because I can't hear you. I don't know if any other person can hear him.
There's no audio. Can you
Hello?
hear me?
Are
Yes,
you?
no.
Okay, you're back on now, sir.
Okay, thank you very much. I'll be using this. We're trying to use. And 64%.
Hello, sir. We can't hear you, but your slides are moving. I think you should disconnect the audio on your phone and then use the one on your laptop, sir.
Can you hear now?
I can hear you now.
Okay, great. So these are some of the studies validated the health benefits with pet owners. We have also seen cases where hospitalized patients, they use them as therapy dogs. They take them to hospitals, and it helps in recovery of these hospitalized patients. These are the pictures. This picture was sent to me by my brother-in-law in Texas. the day they brought therapy dogs to the hospital, he quickly said it to me that, "Oh, doc, see your patients in the hospital." I said, "Yes, I know that they use these animals as therapy dogs." Owning a dog also helps you in companionship and social connection. Pets are now used as local social lubricants. What do I mean by this? If you have a pet, and I've seen cases where people come to a hospital and people of different sexes, and they'll be able to connect themselves. They go to parks, they connect, and some have become lifelong friends or even couples by being able to talk to their lady they have never spoken to, because there is a connection, and the connection is the pet. So if you need a good wife or husband, make sure that you go, if you have a pet, make sure you go to where pets are aggregating. You could get a beautiful wife or husband there. That's a park, and that people are connecting very well. Having a pet can also build a community. A community of dogs have been built around, I know Coach Bafemi will be interested in this. A community was built around pets, and it was built by a lady called Jackie Ijumagu, and she has done a great job. That this community, they are powerful advocates of good pet ownership, and they organize pet shows and connect people of diverse connections, and they bring them there, and you always enjoy yourself. Pets in specialized roles, yes, you can see dogs are trained to assist physically challenged, help them in their mobility, in taking them around, and they've proven that yes, it's a very good form of assistance what our pets have been able to do for us. You will not believe this, but yes, pets are being used as therapy dogs for cancer detection. Some dogs have been trained, and just by smelling your body, by sniffing your body, they can detect if you have any cancer, maybe cancer of the breast, cancer of the cervix. And once they confirm by smelling, by sniffing you, it will be advisable for you to quickly go and do a test. So you can see that our animals can detect some of these conditions even before the medical technologies of doctors even confirms. Dogs have been used as seizure animals, and I wish
the danger and saved her owner from an epileptic seizure. True service dogs are trained to assess situations where their owner might get into an epileptic seizure. So when this
can you watch this video?
Medical service dog sensed it before it even happened, warns her, and jumps on her, urging her to stop what she's doing and sit down. Realizing this episode is going to be worse than usual, Casey quickly springs to the fridge, grabbing a bottle of water, and then rushes to fetch her medication from the counter. And as a true lifesaver, she stays right by her side, refusing to leave even for a second. And when she finally loses consciousness, Casey watches over her, waiting anxiously. Thankfully, she was on time with her medication, and after a few minutes on the floor, she slowly comes back to her senses.
Thank you.
The danger.
Thank you very much. So you can see what dogs, pets can do. A seizure dog has been trained, and he was able to help that lady detect even the seizure before the lady did, and then she was able to even grab a bottle and get the drug. You can see the awesome things that our dogs can do. Now, during the COVID era, some dogs were trained as sniffer dogs, so they were using them in instead of in airports, seaports at that time to detect people that were positive, that were COVID positive. And so these are the beautiful things that they do. This is a guy with anxiety challenge, and a dog was placed in his house as a full service dog, and he was able to assist this man, Sharif, to overcome the anxious behaviors. The dog was offering very deep pressure therapy, allows him to be calm, grounded, And it has impacted his life according to him. The dog really allows him to be very calm and to really live a simple life that he wouldn't have been able to live without that dog. I mean, this is one of the benefits we can derive. Therapy dogs, we have hearing dogs. They assist the deaf and dumb to move around and to live a normal life. We also have dogs that have been trained to help children with autism, and they assist these children. They bond with them, they play with them, they take them out, they allow them to vocalize it. They allow them. About 1,000 dogs have been released, you know, by this community training these dogs, and they've made the life of these autistic children better off than just locking them like we do around here, locking them in the house, not allowing them to, but they live a good life. They live a normal life. Therapy dogs can also be used as guard dogs, where they take the blind and they take them out, they, you know, take them wherever they want to go, make them to live a normal life. In Nigeria, for instance, we know them as protectors, as security guards, and that is mostly what we know them as. But in other climes, they are more than that. In Nigeria, you can see that even Nigerian Army, police, they are using the dogs for crowd control, security, insurgency control. Our NDLA now, they are using dogs to sniff people with, if you are going to the airport and they allow these dogs to come and sniff, they can confirm if you are carrying drugs or not. Same service dogs. In our correctional centers now, dogs are now being used to protect the inmates against intruders or against the inmates getting unnecessarily violent. They have also been used as detectives in sniffing bombs, mines, and all over the world. And these are very good functions that these dogs are performing all over the world. They are also used as search and rescue dogs. The other time that a 25-story building fell in our environment, and we had to be using shovels and seek to know whether they are alive. But in other climes, they will send dogs into those areas to confirm if we still have living people to rescue. Now, even our dogs have become a good economic and social value to us. Pets create economic ecosystem. Veterinarians, groomers, trainers, pet manufacturers, behaviorists, even social media influencers, they are part of this economic ecosystem. The global pet industry, for instance, is worth over hundreds of millions or billions, and it supports millions of jobs. So if not because of that, I will not be able to. I'm praising my own living for being a vet surgeon and practicing with my beautiful pets, which I'm enjoying every day. You can see the pet mats. It's all over the world now, and creating good avenue for economic value for veterinarians. The pet's devotion is also unequaled. We shared my story. My wife died last year, and we have our pets called Maya. My wife was ill for about 5 years. She had stroke, and Maya really bonded with my wife so much that during that period they were like twins. Whenever my wife wakes up, Maya will be the one to come and call us. She's awake. She needs anything, she will be the one to inform us. She was all and all and all for us. It was a beautiful. When she died, Maya was so miserable. She would be moving from one room to the other, looking for where she is. And it was so moving that it was in that situation that I saw a different kind of use that our pets can be put into. It was just so amazing. And because of that, I mean, Maya is part of our family. We always be part of our family, and we will always value the love she shared with my wife, and which she allowed every member of the family to also share. The challenges that we have shown different areas where the animals our pets can be used, and they have been very, very good, especially in other climes. But the challenges, we also have our challenges here. We must acknowledge that pets comes with responsibilities, be it financial, emotional. You need to create time, you need to provide proper nutrition and all that. And that's one of the challenges that some pet owners are having. I mean, they don't, some of them easily, take this, they buy these pets, but in terms of proper ownership, proper care, some of them are lacking. We have beautiful pet owners, pet parents that are doing beautiful job. As well, we still have these challenging areas in our community, and we want such to really improve. One of the other challenges we're having is the awareness of zoonotic risk. Yes, we are still having rabies, for instance, in our client, because some of our pet owners will not go and vaccinate their pets, and then now engaging the community by in some clients, the rabies have been totally eradicated, but in ours, we still have such a dreadful disease that has no cure. Access to qualified veterinary care. Yes, we have good veterinary care, all over the country and Africa, for instance. But some of our pet owners still refuse to access this veterinary care. They will go and meet unqualified people, and we receive a lot of cases that these unqualified people must have messed up before they bring them to us. They will give them injection, they will cause abscesses. And so we are advising that, yes, a lot of this can be avoided. Improvement in our societal and cultural values. You know that in some cultures, pets are still regarded as a no-go area. Some cultures, some religion will not want to have a dog in their environment. Some cultures will not want to have a cat, for instance, at all in their environment, because they believe they are witches. We need to improve on these cultural values. Cruelty against pets still persists, and we pray that, yes, there will be a gradual improvement in that area. We received a cat owner the last time. The cat was trying to play with him, and he was doing something the guy was not too keen on, and the next thing was he kicked the cat, and the cat, it broke the vertebral column of that cat, and the cat became paralyzed. These are some of the things that we are praying that we can eradicate. The lack of dog training facility. You can see what in other climes they will be able to do, work with autistic children, work with the blind, most of these facilities were provided by NGOs, by people who had donated a lot of their money for these facilities to train hundreds of dogs, without even bothering about the financial or the profits, value. We need to really get into such mood. What I've been trying to prove to us all this while is that, yes, pets, the way we look at pets as protectors, as guardians, is no longer what they are. They are now our social lubricants. I've told you how people of opposite sexes, they they can connect easily. They are now protectors, you know, they protect us against invaders, against Boko Harams. You know, so they are now our therapists. They are now therapists to us. You can say what they have been able to do with that lady with seizure, what they've been able to do with autistic children, how they've been able to give them a positive behavioral outcomes. You know, these are wonderful things that our pets do to us. They have been motivators. They have motivated us in different ways. I'll be able to show you how they were able to motivate and help people in our society you know, to live a better life, to live an awesome life. And that is what our pets are able to do. They are now even lifelines, you know, in some cases that in search and rescue, some people have been buried in the caves, under the rubbles. If not for these animals, are able to pinpoint that yes, there is somebody there. They will be able to walk where human beings cannot. I mean, they walk in between the rubbles and detect. In some cases, they will pull these people out. So they are now our lifelines. So in some cases, they are even healers. They've been able to heal our emotions. They will be able to help with improving our cardiovascular function. They'll be able to help with reducing the depression in people. They'll be able to alleviate and allow people to live a beautiful life. And that is what our pets are now doing. So I'm using this opportunity to let us celebrate our animals, okay? For not just what they are, but to what they do. They are doing a lot to us. If you have never kept a pet, this is an opportunity. So for you to acquire one and enjoy some of these benefits that I've been enunciating for the past 35 minutes or so. And let us commit ourselves to understanding. We need to understand them. We need to understand. Some people just seeing a pet coming around them, they are afraid. Whereas if you allow, if you bring a pet into your home and allow that pet to grow with your child, that child will be a complete child. It will not be afraid. It will not be timid. It will be balanced. So it's not compulsory you get a dog, but you can get any of this. If you think that your child is not, it looks like a child that requires a little bit of training in how to be a bit balanced. Okay, get a pet that will be bonding with, and with such an opportunity, that child will be an improved child. So let us commit ourselves to understanding, to protecting, and honoring this beautiful God's creature. Before I round up, I want to ask if we have any questions before I think I have about five more minutes or so. So let me use 5 more minutes to ask if there's any question.
We can thank you so much, sir, for that.
Somebody is saying that he has never wanted pets until now. Oh, I'm so happy that that I've been able to create that need, you know, in you. That from today, all the people that said 00. So if you think you will have a pet after this discussion, put yes. Let me see whether I've been able to impact you. If you would like to have a pet after this talk, the other time I can see yes. Wow. Wow. I think I've done a good job. Wow. Yes. I've not seen no. That is good. That is good. So I want to give, or maybe, Oh, this is, thank you so much. So, thank you so much. Any question for me? For any question? I would like to buy a pet for my grandson. Okay. Oh, I never wanted a pet until now. That is great. I'm so happy that I've done a good job. Okay. Any question? Okay.
Thank you so much,
So
sir.
thank
We
you so
really
much,
appreciate.
everyone. Thank you so much
Yes, amazing
listening
session,
to
sir.
me. God bless you.
Thank you so much, sir. Such an amazing session. I've always loved dogs. Dogs are just beautiful. That's the closest I've had to a pet. I had a dog once in the house with my niece, and then she left for school, and we didn't know how to explain to the dog. And every day he will come and sit in front of the door, looking for her. Obviously, we didn't understand. And then when the door is open by chance, he will run upstairs and go to the foot of her bed and stay there, lie down there all day, as if to say, "How you will escape me today, I will know." And then in the evening, we'll chase it out of the house. But he did that every day for 3 months till she came back.
Wow, 3 months.
It was so beautiful to see. After a while, we stopped chasing it out. We just let it just come in and then feel her presence in the room. Well, her presence struck her absence. And when she came back, that dog he was acting like he was confused. He would just be running around her and rolling on the floor. It was beautiful to see. So this presentation just made it all make sense to me. Thank you so much, sir.
That is beautiful.
Okay.
Doctor,
So we have questions.
Yes, please. I would like to buy a pet for my grandson. He's only 2.5. So what do you suggest?
For your grandson?
Yeah, it's true. Yeah.
We need to know whatever you're going to get for, because it's us two. What about you? Do you like dogs? You like cats? Because at 2, you have to be the one that will be taking responsibility until it takes over.
Primary caregiver.
I like bots. I like bots.
You like bots?
Yeah.
Yeah, you can then get a bot for it. Maybe a parakeet, a parrot. I mean, parrots are thinking. Bots. They are very sonorous. They are beautiful, and then you will also like it. You know, it all depends on what you think that you can really care for, because you're going to transfer that care to that boy, and then you're going to make that boy to grow along that path. You know, so it's still young to take a decision. You are the one that will take that decision for you.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much.
So what age can you get a dog for a child? From what age?
In my own case, by 2, my children grew up with dogs. Okay. But by two, they're able to, move around the house, and it's always good to allow the dog to come. Maybe the child is to get a younger pet, so the boy will be
grow together.
Not that you are introducing a younger boy to a bigger Labrador.
Okay.
Let him get used to him as a puppy. You know, is taking around, holding the tail, and pulling the tail, and them walking together. So they will grow along the same path. So by the time the boy is about 7, this guy will also be looking like about 4, and then he will still have good control over that dog, and he will be able to control him without any fear. You know, but most people, they will go and get a bigger dog for a younger child. And once the dog starts bullying that child, it starts creating fear, it starts creating anxiety, and then panic moods. And then this child starts screaming. And the next thing is, hey, the mother will say, please come and remove this dog, come and remove this dog. And then between the father and the mother, there will be problems. We don't want that.
Okay, sir, that makes sense. Thank you so much, sir.
Okay.
I think we have a raised hand. Dr. Emmanuel was raising his hand. Does he want to ask a question? Okay, OBK, you can unmute and ask your question.
Okay. Thank you, Dr. Kunle,
Thank
and
you.
thank you for this opportunity. I just wanted to reiterate the issue about therapy dogs.
Yes.
I didn't know what it was until I went to a clinic. I stay in England, so I went to a clinic and I saw a therapy dog session. I was shocked. I was like, what is it for me to do? And now you mentioned it, it makes more sense because in this environment, pets are generally are even more regarded than human beings.
Yes. Oh.
Yeah, in fact, you see people who don't want to give pets, but they have pets. Some will their own property to their pets.
Yes.
And it's quite shocking. I see the way they treat pets, and I'm wondering, me coming from Nigeria and where we had dogs, but we didn't budget for food for them.
Or you budget the dogs as food.
So the dog was more independent than we that bought it from. So in those days, even go back, the dog will be so weak and stuff like that. So coming here and I see what they do for pets, I was blown away. And this training actually opened my eyes. I am almost convinced to get a pet, but I'm still watching.
Oh, that's good. That's good. That's good. That is my aim. That is my aim, to make most of you pet lovers. That is great. Actually, I mean, that is what they are doing there. And I mean, but we thank God that we are taking a cue in Nigeria. If you come over now, it's the awareness is now higher than before. I mean, I dare not, I mean, if any pet parent comes to my clinic now, you must address that person, not as a client, but as a pet parent. You know, how is the baby? You cannot say how is the dog. There will be that parent will be very annoyed, especially if it's from other client. No, so it's catching up with us. And the awareness and the care that we're giving to these animals. And if you won't believe that, I mean, cat is being sold for about 500,000, 900,000, 1 million, 1.5 million in Nigeria now. That is what, I mean, it's not been done before. So the level of awareness is getting so high. I mean, we want to thank people like Jackie Idimogo, my dog and I group, and so many other groups that are raising the bar. We want to thank them for the great job they are doing. OBK, you are raising your hand.
Yes, thank you very much, Doc.
Thank you.
Mine is on parrots. I've seen them argue a lot. Like, they just keep repeating what you are saying. And is that part of the training, or is that their natural instinct? Is there a way around it, or it's just... So that's my questions.
Parrots, they especially our African gray parrots. That's why it's been sought out from all over the world. They are beautiful animals. One of the traits they have is that they mimic human voices. They mimic human voices. So if you have a parrot, for instance, and somebody said they argue a lot, they don't argue. The beautiful thing about our animals, just like what the beauty they have done with all these dogs doing this, doing that, is that you can impress your own training on them. Okay, you can alter their minds, and you can have a creation from what you want from these animals. That's why God placed us higher than them. So we don't have bad pets, but we are bad owners. If you have a pet that you don't train, then it becomes a bad dog. So the owners rest on us, the owners of those pets. So if you have a parrot, for instance, we always advise, parrots, they're like one man, one pets. So it is you that you'll be training what you want. Hello, good morning. Hello, good morning. So whatever you are saying, it begins to mimic. begin to understand you and begin to copy what you are doing. So after some time, the more you vocalize to that parrot, the more it returns that vocalization. So it's your training pattern. But if a parrot is confused in a house, about 5 people, somebody will come. And everybody's confusing that parrot. So the parrot will be so confused and it will begin to pick this, pick that, and you will not have a balanced parrot or balanced pet. The same thing with a dog. If somebody is training a dog on sit down, and if he's using Yoruba, for instance, and you come with your English and come somebody with, and at the same time, you get a lot of confusion. But our dogs can understand the Russian language, German language, Yoruba language, Igbo language. So it all depends on what you use in training such a pet. Okay, if you don't want to use English, just continue to use your native language. That dog will understand. Even a parrot, if you train a parrot in your local language, that is what it will understand. Okay, and so they are very balanced animals. What is all depends on the level of training, the hours you want to put into such a pet, and then you get. It is what you give. It is what you give that you reap. It's what you give that you surely get from such animals. Hope you understand that. Hope that is clear. OBK.
Yes, it is. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you. Okay. What's the question?
Is there any other question? Do we have any other questions? Any more contributions?
What's it?
Okay, my dog and I group says, I have a question, please. Could you unmute yourself and ask your question? Or do you want to write it in the chat?
Good afternoon. Yes, I'll ask now.
Okay.
Good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon.
So, Doug, I want to thank you so much for the session. It's been very enlightening. Picking up on what you said about the growing pet industry in Nigeria and how veterinary care has, taken everything to the next level. Would you say that the next generation of vet doctors are ready, to raise the bar even higher? Because I know for sure that when we pet parents want to seek medical care for our pets, we usually look for more experienced hands like yourself. So I just wanted to know if what exactly you're doing, or if you are doing something to raise like the next generation of great doctors that will also push, the veterinary medicine practice in Nigeria, higher. That's my question.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Jackie. Yes, we are trying our best. We are trying our best. The level cannot be lower than what it is, and we're doing everything humanly possible to ensure that it is improving, and the colleagues we are developing, they are better than us. In fact, that's what I always tell all my mentees that yes, I want to be better than me. And now we haven't, improved in the technological tools that we are using, unlike before. We're having EMR to make our work easy. A lot of technology is now being put in. The only challenge is that many of us are still lagging behind, but we are doing, and that is one of the things that Savan, of which I'm the president, Small Animal Veterinary Association of Nigeria. We are doing everything. We are doing training in fact, there is a training we are doing every week, every Wednesday. We are doing the training every Wednesday. We are doing monthly seminars. We are doing a lot of mentorship. We are taking interns and giving them paid internships for them to improve. We are going around the university to encourage them. So you can be well, assured that in the next 2 or 3, 4 or 5 years, what's the caliber of veterinary surgeons you'll be getting, they will be satisfying to you, you know, and there's also a check and balance. We have the veterinary council that, yes, if there's any, and every vet, now even the veterinary council is training all the vets with continuing education, and they know that the AMA will land on any vet that commits any malpractice that is not up to standard. The AMA will drop on them. So it makes them to be very, very ready to do the work. Sometimes, you know, even to your group, sometimes we hear that, oh, a vet did this, a vet did that, but sometimes it's not the vet that did it. It is, you know, some of these unqualified people that did some of those things. But when anybody is going to say, they say, oh, a vet did this, a vet did that. Whereas it's about the challenges that we have that we still need to control, where we have a standard like, I mean, what Dr. Emmanuel is saying, where you will have professionals doing what they are trained to do, and non-professionals handing off what they are not supposed to do. But a lot of things are happening. I got a call from somebody and I saw a case and I was so surprised, and he said, it is my vet, it's my vet. I said, okay, let me speak with your vet. And the vet became somebody from the road. When I asked him, where did you train? He said that I trained under somebody. So why are you doing this? He said, yes, I'm just trying to help. Unfortunately, that dog died, and that's some of the things we see. So when people now say they cannot say, oh, this is the vet that did this, but whereas it's not the vet that did it. So I'm also using the opportunity to warn everybody, before you allow anyone to be your veterinary caregiver, you must ensure. Now you can scan. We have app where you can know who is a vet and who is not a vet. We have an app, okay? And so but some people, how can I buy a dog for 1.5 million and then allow a charlatan to come and be treating my dog? And that's what's happening. Breeders are treating dogs, whereas they're not supposed to do. But any vet that messes up, any client has the opportunity to deal with such a person, because it will be regarded as a malpractice, which we don't encourage or allow in our profession. Thank you. It's not showing. Online question, okay. It's not showing. Let me see. Is it
Coach Teg, I think there's a question in the chat room now.
Yeah.
Okay, so I have a question. Thank you for this enlightening session. It has been amazing. Okay, so in a situation where a dog bites a family member that is not very friendly with, what do we do? Do we dispose the dog? Is there a process of retraining the dog? What do we do in such situation?
Can you come again, please? I didn't get that question very well. The family member is it family member that does not like the dog? Who is the owner of the dog?
The dog is a member of the family, but he
Yes.
doesn't really like a particular family member. He's not very friendly with that family member. That family member during something happens, and then we just, what do we do in such situation?
Thank you very much for that question. That family member, is it a family member? What is the position in that family? Is it a nuclear family member or extended?
So yes, he's a nuclear family member. He's a brother, so they're siblings, and then doesn't just like a particular family member.
Before a dog will not like a family member, let me be honest with you, that family member must have done something bad to that person. So that he has beaten that dog or he has done something bad. And you know, dogs, they don't forget things. They don't forget. They are loving. They are wonderful animals, but don't mess them up. Maybe that family, so what you need to do is to ask this family member what he did to annoy or to, he must have been cruel to this dog. He must have been cruel. Okay? If a family member is doing that, I will remove that family member from my family instead of the dog. Yeah, that's what I would do. Because I would not want a family member that is cruel. And that shows that that person is an unbalanced person. Okay? So you must call the person, ask him what he did. And if such a person is having such a behavior, then it will grow up. If it's a young person, it will grow up being, it might be somebody that might be, you know, a woman, I don't want to say the word. It might not be, let's just say that you need to have a talk with that person. Because it's a family member, we need to be careful now. Have a talk with that person. But if it continues and you cannot remove the family member in the house, then maybe you should reposition that dog to, you allow somebody else to adopt that dog so that the dog will not continue with that suffering, because that dog is suffering from that molestation that person is doing. But if that person can change, he can beg the dog, he can give treats, he can, you know, warm the dog back to him. And then it will be a form of training to that person that you don't molest, you don't being cruel, and you don't being very unloving to a lesser animal. Because somebody that is unloving to a lesser animal will also be unloving to human beings. So, I mean, that is what some studies have been able to validate.
Okay, awesome. Is there any other? I didn't see the question, but is there someone else that will have a question now?
Yes, someone is having a question. That's by stroking. I'm not seeing that question again.
Yeah, I didn't see it myself.
But I saw it in a flash that by stroking a dog, what? Can the person please come back again, because it's a very nice question. I'm trying to. Oh, okay. Is that stroking the long animal part? That is my concern. OBK is saying that it is stroking it is stroking the animal that is concerned. Seriously, for OBK, let me tell you, and I will relate it to human beings. Okay, if you have a wife and you stroke your wife and you caress your wife very, very well, okay, regularly, and you know it brings a very powerful feeling to you, okay, and even to your wife, because the wife, you are releasing serotonin, okay, which is the happy hormone, okay, and you are reducing the. I watched one video when a lady was caressing a man, and it was beautiful. Then the turn of the man to caress the woman, he was doing it the rough way, and they were saying, "Look at the two sides." You can okay, just try it today. Spend 10-15 minutes doing that to madam, and you will see what the response will be. The same thing with animals. The beautiful thing with animals is that when you are stroking an animal, okay, it is you are the one that is even getting that benefit. Just like you are stroking your wife, you are the one. As you are doing that, the serotonin, the oxytocin, okay, will be released in you, and then it calms you down. The cortisol level that you brought out from all the shouting and screaming and on the road, the cortisol level that you came in that was high will start going down. And that is the reason why you need to stroke your animal. You need to snuggle your animals and stroke it very, very well. And also the either party. Okay, I know I'm going beyond my scope now, but that is just the correlation between the two. Okay, so some studies have said the couples that snuggle, that they caress themselves, that are very, very close, they stay in marriage longer than those who that just say hi, 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 hi. Okay, they stay in marriage. You know, I can share those studies with you later on. So let us let us try it, and you will see, but not the long animal.
Awesome. Thank you so very much, sir. We really
Obike, you
appreciate
are
you.
something else.
Thank you so much, sir. We really appreciate your session. If there are any others, if you need his number, kindly put your details in the chat room, sir. Anybody else can reach you directly after this. Thank you so much, sir. So I'll call upon Obike or Coach Stella to do a short review of the CMS platform after this and the recap of the webinar, and then we can call it a day. So Obike, over to you, sir.
Yes, I'm here. It's been a wonderful time. One of the things I keep hearing is the fact that having a community can help you develop better competencies for managing or caring for your pets. You know, if you check what Dr. Kunle is saying, there are quite a lot of people who are beginning to become pet owners. And these pet owners need to, once in a while, have some resources, talk to themselves, meet each other, and all of that. That is already giving that sense of what it should look like by having a community. And of course, if you look at it from the professional angle, the veterinarians getting resourced, learning some more, updating their knowledge, that is community. For us at SECA, community architecture is key. And people who have subscribed to the community membership and subscription portal have been gaining a lot so far. Access to that is just 15,000. So you can imagine learning a lot more about community by paying just 15,000 for a whole year. It gives us your yearly subscription, 15,000 only. And it's something that has been a wonderful journey, because you are getting videos on community, how to do that step by step. Not just the videos, you are getting resources, emails, books, and all of that. And tomorrow, because this is very important, we are having a meeting. Everybody who have subscribed and part of that platform, we will be meeting tomorrow, and it's going to be a lovely one. But of course, just in case you are not a part of that community, you need to join this community. What are we discussing tomorrow? It is simple. Understanding the dynamics of building a vibrant community. And we're having a very powerful person from ALX Africa. ALX Africa is part of the wider Africa Leadership Academy. They have several expressions. They have a university, one of the best in Rwanda, and then several campuses. They have been very good at helping African businesses build communities around what they do. And we'll be having the community analyst at ALX come to facilitate that session. You have to be in the session. Everybody who is already in the CMSP platform is coming in. But if you are not there, it is a good time for you to pay 15,000 naira, which translates to your subscription. So you really do not have anything to lose. What we have always said at SECA is that we want people to become better. We want our community members to grow, and we keep finding ways of resourcing and retooling ourselves and making sure that we become the best. Just a final announcement. Thursday is also another time for us to learn some more, and it is free. Dr. Manuel, who has been speaking and making contributions on the session, will be facilitating the session on the hidden cost of stress. You should not miss that class. So be there and learn from Dr. Manuel Thursday at 7:30 p.m. West African time. You can access the class for free. All you need to do is to reach out to SECA Africa, get into our our database so that you will be updated frequently on what is going on at SECA. Remember to follow us online at MySECA Africa. It's important that you follow us, or you can also check us out on our website. It's important that you do that at www.secaafrica.com, or you can check us out online. All of the social media pages, please and you have been there for the Channel African webinar. I believe you have enjoyed your stay from the start to the end. It's been a wonderful day. We are very grateful for you and for coming. Do not leave. Stay around. SECA has a lot we are doing, and please make sure that you connect with us. It's important you connect with us. I'm going to be sharing a WhatsApp number. Reach out to that WhatsApp number. That WhatsApp number will capture your details and make sure that you get updated in all that we do. It's important that you do that. Thank you very much. We will come again for this June edition of the Pan-African webinar on the 28th of June. So look out for the announcement. 28th of June, we'll be back for Pan-African webinar, and it will be a wonderful, wonderful session. Thank you very much. Coach Tega.
Thank you also very much. We have come to the end of the webinar today. And if you are in the community and you would like to present as well, if you want to be present at the next webinar, kindly reach out to OBK. And if you're a guest, if you want to be part of the community, reach out to OBK as well. These are many of the perks that we receive in the community. Thank you all for being here today. I hope you learned a lot. I hope your notes are full. And don't forget, application is what makes it obvious that you have learned something. So enjoy the rest of your day, and we'll see you next month, same last Saturday of June. Thank you also very much. Enjoy the rest of your day. Bye.
Enjoy the rest of your day, everyone. Thank you. Bye.